This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
Welcome to today's Talk Business and Politics Daily. I'm Roby Brock, joined by John Brummett of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Good to have you back with us.
As always.
A little flurry of activity this weekend.
There was quite a bit of activity over the week since last we visited.
In sports, though, you think I'm talking about politics. I'm referring to the Alabama-Arkansas game, of which your Twitter tweets were impressive this weekend. Can I pull my favorite one out and let you contemplate?
If I say no, will you not do it? You're going to do it. It's your show.
Hogs on verge of third moral victory in a row. There's already talk they could be the best 1 in 5 team in the country.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
That was pretty good. I'm going to have to say I laughed out loud on that one.
I got a reply to that. I said, that's not very nice, Mr. Brummett. And, well, no, it wasn't. I'm meaning to be acerbic.
So are they going to be the best 1 in 6 team in the country after Ole Miss, or are they going to be the best 2 in 5 team in the country after Ole Miss?
Either way, they're going to be the best. Just so you know, win or lose, they're going to be the best. And I'm trying to figure out how you get a moral victory over Ole Miss, but I bet they can pull it off if necessary. What do I know about it? I mean, they're getting obviously better, except I'm amused by this idea that they're better and we are to celebrate as fans a team that gave up 65 points. I've just been around too long. I remember the 1964 Razorbacks.
I wasn't born then.
Who shut out their last 5 opponents, so I mean, it's just a different world and I've got to adjust to it. You apparently can give up 65 and your fans can give you a standing ovation at the end. This is the new norm.
What's going to happen if War Memorial Stadium is a sellout and it's full and they win? The criticism has been that Little Rock fans, Central Arkansas fans don't show up and that the stadium is jinxed, yet they may wind up having a better record in Little Rock than in Fayetteville.
You think they might have a
What's that going to do to you on Twitter?
Probably nothing. I'm the only person in the state who has no interest in the whole War Memorial site battle. One thing I've become accustomed to is universities playing games on their university sites, on the campuses. And I don't know why Arkansas is supposed to come down to Little Rock, just because they used to. Nothing else is the way it used to be. Why is that supposed to be? Let's get off. Look, we've wasted too much time.
Are you ready to go into politics where it'll be much less controversial?
I think a War Memorial Stadium and the Razorback football is about as political as one can get, don't you,
Yes.
in this state? What else you got, if anything?
We can
talk about this.
No. There was, we did see the full Monty on the Brett Kavanaugh nomination here.
That's your imagery, not mine.
Goes through the Senate.
Yes.
And I want to read for you a couple of quotes from some different folks here that have commented on this. We'll start with Senator John Bozeman, who said that the process by which Judge Kavanaugh's nomination was considered in the Senate makes clear that this institution has been damaged considerably, and he said that there has to be a standard worthy of this institution, and we've missed the mark in this instance. I think he's right about that.
That is his most profound moment, as far as if not his only profound moment. I think he's absolutely right. I suspect he's talking from a different perspective than mine, but I think the general conclusion is that this Judiciary Committee spectacle was a debacle, and by everybody. When Democrats who had an anonymous complaint months ago, and they didn't do anything about it and brought this poor woman out and left her out to dry at the end with this major scene. I think that was politically abusive. For Republicans to say, "Oh, we find her credible," one day and then turn around and mock her the next, and then just reject out of hand her story, and then to claim they're going to do an FBI investigation when they did a very limited job, background check follow-up, very limited, prescribed by the Republicans themselves. It was all, everybody has a right to be sick of this process. Everybody has an argument that the other side behaved disgracefully in this process, and nothing positive has been served by this, unless you want a 5-4 majority on the Supreme Court to undo Roe v. Wade, which I guess now you've quite possibly have.
Senator Tom Cotton says, sadly, because Democrats have long depended on activist judges to impose their unpopular ideas on an unwilling people, the Democrats waged a scorched earth campaign of character assassination against him, Brett Kavanaugh. Tom Cotton spells out pretty clearly it's the Democrats' fault in this. As you say, there's blame to be had on all sides. Why do you think Senator Cotton feels it has to be framed in that hyper-partisan?
Because he's a hyper-partisan person. He just is. I mean, you know him better than I do. He sits right here. This man gives no quarter to anything other than his own bellicose views. He is the advocate of an extreme conservative manifesto, and that's just what he's
But he's
all
representing a very Republican viewpoint in terms of how they saw this whole process play out. John Bozeman, much more nuanced in the way that he has described this,
right.
Although I think, as you accurately say, it was from a partisan lens.
No, but at least Bozeman has some expansive general thought about what happened here and the damage to the institution. Cotton typically expresses it totally in the view of his extreme conservative philosophy. He also goes on in that quote, I don't think you just read it, to call this mob rule. He said we stood up to mob rule.
Left-wing mob rule.
Left-wing mob rule. I guess maybe he means protesters or persons engaging in free expression.Maybe. I would counter that, let me get this said, this is a tiresome thing that I say, but this is less a matter of mob rule than of minority rule. Let me just repeat. This is the fifth and probably generationally pivotal appointment to our U.S. Supreme Court on Roe v. Wade and all sorts of social and business issues, economic and conservative versus moderate or liberal. This is the decisive one, and the nomination gets to be made by a president who got 3 million fewer votes than the Democrat, and it gets to be confirmed by a Senate that is 51-49 Republican controlled, but since every state gets 2 senators, as it happens, the Democrats in the U.S. Senate, albeit fewer, got more votes by several million than the Republicans. So I don't see mob rule here. I see people in the majority who are seeing decisive, generationally determinative issues occurring against their will, even though they're in the majority, and there's great frustration. There was tremendous bitterness and resentment about this because of what I just described, and because the Republicans wouldn't even give Merrick Garland a hearing. That existed even before all this happened. So I am not persuaded at all, per usual, by Tom Cotton's rhetoric, and not at all.
Are you surprised that the vote was even as contentious and as close as it was, knowing that Republicans had a 51-49 majority the entire time? They had the control of the votes on the Judiciary Committee. It really should have, if you've got party discipline, should have never even been that controversial to get it passed, but it was.
No, I'm not surprised. There were serious charges made against this guy. So no, and it's a 51-49 majority. 51-49 is nothing. If Jeff Flake goes the other way, or Susan Collins goes the other, by the way, she never will, she'll just talk about it, or in this case, Lisa Murkowski did, no, I wasn't surprised at all. It's a 1-vote advantage in committee. And it's not
Joe Manchin on the Democrat side going with it as well.
Right, after it was clear that the vote didn't matter, which is cynical politics. He wasn't going to vote if it mattered to give the confirmation, but after Collins gave him license, then he plays to the West Virginia Trump base. So no, I'm not surprised at all. What's interesting, but probably not surprising, it was McConnell's hell-bent determination to get this thing through, no matter. At any point, they could have said, Brett, this has gotten a little sticky. We got a very good a conservative woman over here. I forget her name. We can put her in there. Sorry, maybe you'll get the next one. but this climate's not good for us. They never even considered that it was, we're going to plow through, we're going to ram it through, he's going to be the one. Why? Because there are 17 U.S. Senate seats up in 4 weeks. 10 of them are in Trump states in which Democratic incumbents are trying to hold on. And they thought by forcing a vote on Kavanaugh, by mobilizing the right wing, their resentment against Democrats for going after Kavanaugh, they could inconvenience or harm McCaskill in Missouri, Nelson in Florida, Heinkamp in North Dakota, Donnelly in Indiana, Tester in Montana, force them into a difficult choice that might enhance the opportunity for them to hold the Senate and get the next appointment as well. There's
maybe even pick up seats.
They could. There's very little principle at play in any of this unless you consider total obsession with the next election a principle, because that's what we've had on both sides. But I got to counter Tom Cotton's mob rule by saying I think that's baloney.
Matthew Dowd, GOP consultant, is active in the Bush years in particular. He's on TV a lot now. Quote, a lot of people are in pain today, most especially sexual assault survivors, which is why I just can't understand the cruelty of the winners dancing in the end zone and rubbing it in. Seems a total lack of compassion. Explain to me why Democrats and Republicans do the end zone dance when they do win on these things. Why not a little more civility, a little more humility in victory?
Because apparently we're not electing a high quality of people behaving to a high quality of standard that we hold our political leaders. I mean, it's just that simple. Dr. Christine Ford, whether you thought she was badly mistaken or what happened when Brett Kavanaugh was a boy doesn't matter, or maybe you think she's just goofy and messing it up. Maybe you think all of that. The fact is, I just read a piece, she can't go home. She's not safe. She's according to her lawyers, death threats. She has sustained extreme peril and more than inconvenience, peril in this matter. And a little graciousness when you win would be better in that kind of environment when there's that kind of damage, and I don't call it collateral damage, direct damage from your process, than to go around high-fiving. But it's all about, look what, we've made these Democrats stand up for a process that in these key states, it's going to hurt them. And this is going to help us. Remember, polling, nationwide polling does not matter in America anymore. The Democrats can look and say, well, more people opposed Kavanaugh than favored him. Big deal. More people voted for Hillary than Trump. It's not what the nationwide numbers are. It's all about the place. And the place this time in the Senate battlefield, not the House, but the Senate battlefield, is in Trump states. And that's what this was. This was a cynical, raw, political approach to this entire issue.
Which Democrats would have done too had the shoe been on the other foot, I would contend.
Well, okay.
I'm just
telling you about what happened.
Sure.
I don't know I don't know exactly what the the symmetrical issue would be. Plus, that's always the way that we in the media, or those who claim to be fair in the media, and you claim it, and you are, but you think there's some symmetry. Well, the Democrats would have done the same had they been in charge.
I'm not saying they would have played out the Supreme Court. I'm just saying
that
if there was a victory to have that would have been a calculus for victory in some key states, I think they would have done the same thing. I think they will do the same thing.
Why don't you wait and let them do it? Why don't we judge what's happened? Why don't we judge what's happened? I don't excuse the Republicans for what did happen, for our speculation that, well, the Democrats probably would have done the same thing. I don't think that's fair. I said in my column yesterday, the what about the other side, or yeah but argument, that's for elementary playgrounds such as the U.S. Senate. That's what I said. And I'm unpersuaded by that, by this balance. Let's always balance it. Well, the Democrats would have done the same thing. Maybe. Let's give them a chance to do it. Let's talk about what the Republicans did. My view.
Your view is what you're here for.
Well,
John Brummett of the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, always good to see you.
Thank you very much.
All right. That's all for today's program. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Roby Brock. We'll see you next time.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America, moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie.
Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.
I did.
Arkansas Electric Cooperative Corporation provides electric energy across 2/3 of Arkansas. This is an exciting time in our energy history, with incredible progress being made in renewable energy and storage technologies. As our energy portfolio continues to diversify, we'll maintain an all-the-above strategy to provide reliable and affordable electricity. Ever since the first light bulbs were placed in our members' homes, the electric cooperatives have been the solutions provider for our members, and we want to continue that well into the future.